Hi, welcome to the 3R Project. This is a Our United Core production. I plan to have this be our platform for just ongoing discussion within the community, especially as the community begins to grow and expand. So, what are the three R's? When I call it the 3R Project, right? So, it is about rebuilding, restoring, and replacing um, different aspects, different um, as I don't know how to put it, the fundamentals of our community. And as you may be aware, with our United Core, this is a community development organization. We are centered on the Black community and embracing our unique history and our shared experiences and building that sense of mutual advancement and shared opportunity, right? So the three R's is embedded within that. So we're going to look at what are the aspects of our community that we can focus on rebuilding, what are the aspects we can focus on restoring, and what are the aspects that just simply need to be replaced. Uh, when I look at each of those terms, rebuild, all right, we'll start with rebuild. What does it mean to rebuild? To me, what it means to rebuild is something was destroyed. It is no longer in that place. It's no longer holding its value in that place because it has truly been destroyed. It's rubble, so to speak. So, what we need to do is clear out the mess, dust off the foundation, and rebuild, right? We need it back. We just have to get rid of what is broken down about it. And then there's restore. With restoration, the structure is still there. It has not been destroyed, but it's outdated. It's had a lot of deferred maintenance. It needs some help. So let's restore it. Let's put the resources into repairing the roof. Let's get new doors on this thing. Let's get a new fresh paint of coat, no coat of paint. Um, let's get it back to its luster. We still have it. It's just a little broken down and needs some tender love and care. And then there's replace. The structure's there. It's could be subject to being restored. Like it hasn't been destroyed. We don't have to rebuild it. It's still there. The building's there. The structure is there, but it no longer serves us. It's out. It's truly outdated. It's so outdated we can't bring it forward, or we should simply shouldn't. This is where I look at the difference between beliefs and tradition. Right. So beliefs are something that they transcend time, and some beliefs need to be discarded, but some beliefs, because it's about the core of something, they continue on. But traditions are built off of beliefs. And oftentimes we have traditions that we've just been holding on to because no one took the time to really dig into it, to really look into it. And it just needs to go away. All right. Those traditions just need to go away. So those are the three R's. And I may hit them on individual topics, where I flesh them out and go into them a little bit more and continue to throw different analogies and things like that because I like storytelling, right? But really, it's more of the underpinnings of everything that we're going to talk about here, because at our United Core, we believe that our mission is to galvanize, to pull together the community to help serve and help uplift the community. We do look at that through entrepreneurial opportunities, through shared, or what I call continuous giving campaigns, through mutual benefit campaigns, through educational programs. You know, It's a multifaceted approach. It's going to span for years and decades, is my hope and my dream. But we're in the beginning, and we got a lot of work to do. And part of that work is getting into the pillars of our society and our community and figuring out where to start, what to work on, and how to progress. It's not, my goal here is not just to dwell on things that are quote unquote wrong. We have plenty of platforms that do that. We have, there's just, you pick it. It certainly isn't to spend time in the mess. We might talk about the mess, but we're not going to spend time in the mess. We're going to identify it, and then we're going to talk about what are some of our ideas on how to improve the situation and move things forward. And what does forward even look like? What are we trying to move to? All right. So that's what this new series, this new podcast is hoping to do. It's to give more breath and more energy behind what our United Core as an organization is endeavoring to do. Right. So we're gonna have some fun sometimes. We're gonna be serious sometimes. We're gonna go into social issues, personal issues, interpersonal issues. Sometimes we'll touch on some political things, but not from the standpoint of, which party to affiliate with per se, but more about how does politics operate in our world, and there's a train of thought that says that all things are political. In your household, how do you make decisions? And your job, how do you negotiate your job? How do you, local economies, different families interacting, that's all political. It doesn't have to be, this old blue and red and third party. That's not what I'm interested in. And I doubt that's what many of you were interested in. And when we do want to have those conversations, there's plenty of places to go have them. So welcome to the 3R Project. Now, this is a level setting introductory video. So I'm going to, sometimes it'll be me talking to you. Sometimes I'm going to have some of my friends who come on with us, and we have a great back and forth discussion. Hopefully we'll even have a few panel discussions, and hopefully even have a few guests who come on and kind of talk about their experiences or talk about their expertise, right? Because we want to make sure that this is it's an openly evolving discussion and conversation. It's going to be, I think it's going to be really good. But it won't be everybody's cup of tea, and a little bit about me, not boring you about, my personal story or anything like that, whatever on that. I'm just another guy who's trying to do his part, right? Trying to make his mark before, my time runs out. I'm raising a family, building a business, working a job, probably like a lot of you. But a little bit about me as far as this organization is concerned. I'm going to touch on, some of my inspirations, right? So my personal inspirations, and I'm looking at my notes here just so I can try to stay on track, because I have a tendency to, man, if you absorb much of my content, I can talk for days. So I'm trying to keep this a little bit more contained for this video, because it's really just me talking to you, right? So my personal inspirations to help you understand what informs my thinking and my passions and why I started our United Core to begin with. So first off, I'm going to start with the Honorable Marcus Garvey. And I choose Marcus Garvey as one of my personal inspirations because this is a gentleman who built the largest Black organization that we've ever known, especially of prominence. And he's focused on community uplift. He focused on being action oriented. All right. It wasn't just a social group to be social. It was feeding that energy back to us, letting us know, reminding us of our greatness and our importance, not just in the larger world, but to each other. And that's powerful for me. And that sits deep in my spirit. Also, Kwame Ture, I've said it before, he is my personal hero coming out of the civil rights era, and his commitment to the masses. His saying that, nothing of real value or worth that has been achieved without the effort of the masses. It has come by the spilling of tears and blood of the faceless, of the nameless, of the many who dedicated their very lives to making something better for the people who are going to come behind them. You know, even many, and this is me paraphrasing, but many people in the civil rights era that we look back to for a lot of our encouragement and guidance, they were active because they needed to be, but they themselves, in many cases, they didn't think they were going to be able to enjoy many of those benefits, but they did it anyway because they're sowing a seed into the future. They're saying that in this moment, I have a responsibility to my children, my grandchildren, and even those who are unborn to give them something better to work with than what I have to contend with. And that's powerful to me, and that drives me. Booker T. Washington, his efforts to build institutions where young minds can not only develop, but literally a system, a conveyor belt, an institution that really creates the space for young minds to become young leaders and future leaders. So that's another one. I put these two together, Malcolm X and Fred Hampton. And the reason I put them together is because of their shared commitment to elevating and to elevating the individual, but never losing sight of the collective, right? We want to make better individuals because individuals make groups. And when you make better individuals, you make better groups. But you never lose sight of the fact that it's the group, it's the mass of shared interest and effort that achieves results. And so there's that one. So those are my personal inspirations. If you're wondering what drives me deep down inside and moves my thought processes, those are the ancestors whose energy, fill me. Then there's my organizational inspirations. And that list is pretty short because for all the organizations that are out there, most people don't know who they are. They're hard to find, especially in our community because it's underfunded. We're always going to be under attack, no matter how good your efforts are. Plus, we have basically, it's just hard to do. But when I look into the ancestors and our histories, and I can clearly see certain organizations that stand out, in my view, head and shoulders. And that's the Black Panther Party for self-defense. That's the Deacons for Defense. And that's the Nation of Islam. These three organizations, for me, help guide part of what I want to see come out of our United Core. I want to see us start businesses. I want to see us fund other businesses, taking an interest in investing in our community to say, okay, what are the things that we consume? And of the things we consume, what are the things that we can provide that we ourselves can take ownership of so that we can build those industries out to feed our community, to serve our community? Just top of the head, things like plumbers. If you got a house, you're going to need a plumber at some point. Electricians, you're going to need an electrician at some point. Teachers, food services, barbers and hairdressers. These are things that we constantly and regularly consume, and we've shown an aptitude already in our communities. So let's build upon those. Let's create that base of strength, actively planning for something and making it happen. But understanding our history, Our unique history in this country is one where, as you build it, there will be others who come to seek to disrupt it or destroy it because, yes, racism, but also there's a spirit of unfair competition in this country. There is a class issue in this country. And when you look at the nature of capitalism, and I'm not saying that capitalism is a good or a bad thing in this moment, but I'm just saying that is the structure that we operate under. And within capital, it's all about the margins. Is where do you find that extra value between what's being sold and what's being purchased, right? So you're trying to find that profit. And when you really dig into that, eventually you have to get to the point where there is a class or multiple classes of citizens that cannot be afforded the same rights and privileges because you need a permanent underclass in order for capitalism to function, in order to generate the base of where the profit can come from, because as you climb from there, the profits get thinner, right? So given that, if you are with me and you see that as a fact, then given that, we also perhaps can agree, and we'll certainly explore this with some of my guests and things like that, that the Black community, generally speaking, please don't waste my time with the anecdotes, right? Where or the exceptions, better yet. Well, there's this one guy, or there's this one time. Yeah, I get that. I can't spend all day covering every particular angle of every little thing. Can't do it. If you're looking for that, go somewhere else. I understand. But speaking in the mass, or in the mean, or medians in many cases, like a bell curve, we're looking at that core set of information. And in that, we know as you build things, there will be disruptions. So you have to plan accordingly. Plan for it. Prepare for it. It's coming. It can come based on your race. It can come based on your economic class. It can come because you're trying to disrupt the caste system. It could come for so many reasons, but identify those, look right at them, and plan accordingly. But in all cases, life is competition. And I view my team, my core team, to be my community. My community is what created me. My community is what supports and sustains me. My community is a reflection of my household, right? So how do we work to get our collective community out of its relative positioning near the bottom of the caste system, near the bottom of the economic machine, right? So if you're in fifth place, how do we get to fourth place? How do we get to third place, right? Train, plan, work, put in the effort. Complaining without effort is wasted energy. Just as a plan that you don't write down, a plan that you don't work on, is nothing more than a dream. And dreams are nice, dreams feel good, but dreams don't change reality. So we want to change reality. We want to put in the work, and we want to help shift the dynamic so that we can take control of that which is controllable. We can take ownership of that which we should own, and we can move as a collective into a better relative position. So that's I mean, really, that's enough. That's it in a nutshell, folks. But like I was saying, the disruptions will come. There will always be those who are looking for a shortcut, or somehow get compromised so that they can be used. Right? When you look at the UNIA, that was disrupted by people who were jealous, or who saw the rise of that organization as being problematic for their own organizations, which made them rife for being taken over or manipulated by other forces. The Black Panther Party, same thing. They send in infiltrating influences. They put certain people in compromised positions, or people put themselves in compromised positions that they can then be used. So that will always be the case. That will always be life. It doesn't even always have to come from, on high, from like some federal or state organization. It's also just simple human nature. It's greed, it's impatience, it's wanting to be the one with the light on them. So you are jealous of the one who's getting the attention. There's so many things. So you look at those things, you identify those things, you don't pretend they're not there, you plan for it. You put in redundancies. You make yourself big enough and broad enough and diffuse enough that even if one person falls short or fails or has a bad or weak moment, it can't take everything down. It'll cause damage, of course, right? This is a fight. This is a competition to advance, right? So can't go into these things. I'm not going into these things thinking that everything's going to be rosy. But I do know that I want to raise roses. Right. So anyway, weak analogy, I know, forgive me. So that's my organization inspirations. And if you have followed those three, then you'll have picked up on, I touched on each and every last one of those. And then thought influencers. So these are people that add to my library, I guess you could say, that help inform how I approach things, how I investigate or challenge ideas. And here we go. So Dr. Jawanza Kunjufu, brilliant man, and it's taught me so much when it comes about educating our young people, investing in our young people, and definitely caring more about the outcomes of our young men. We'll talk about this another time, but our young boys, our boys, and our young men really need energy. They need help. They need engagement. Okay, they're not going to just figure it out just because. All right, you'll have some who do, and you'll have most who don't. And we got to help them. And yes, our sisters are there too. Absolutely. But we have programs for our sisters. They're abundant. We have YouTube channels galore for our sisters. And we need to big up those, and we need to support them in their efforts and their work. But we need to mirror that image, gentlemen. We need to mirror that image and continue to feed that energy for our boys too. Right? Because for those who choose to get married and have families and these things, guess what? You're going to need somebody else in order to do that. So we need to strengthen both sides of that coin. Dr. Amos Wilson. I don't know if he's considered doctor. I'd have to look it up. But Amos Wilson, I call him Doctor of the Ancestors. I love his thought process about strengthening the community and focusing on these things. Neely Fuller Jr., same thing. We got to make sure we're getting on code. We have to have a standard of behavior, a standard of thinking that we can attach to and build from. And I hope to play my part in that. I hope you will come along with me as we do it. And Dr. Francis Cress Welsing, we got Joy DeGroot. These are powerful teachers, master teachers that teach so much about our history and inform some of the trauma that has moved forward across, and how do we move these things through. And we got to tie into that. So these are the people who really influence much of my thoughts. But I've done a lot of talking. So I'm going to go ahead and wind this thing down. So few quick points for you. I am not, like I said earlier, I am not everybody's cup of tea. I already know it. I'm a peculiar kind of cat. But I love my people, and I love people. And I just want everyone, white, black, all those. That's the power, as the Black Panther Party would often say, power to the people, and all power to the people, right? And to the people, all power. I'm sorry. But my focus in this moment is our community. And I'm not going to be radical enough for some people. I'm not going to be as mellow as some people want me to be. I'm not gonna be what a lot of people want me to be. I'm gonna be me, right? You know what I'm saying? I encourage you to be you, and you ain't got to agree with me for us to work together. Now, there are certain things, certain elements I won't stand for, I won't entertain, I won't play with. But as far as if you are down for loving on our community and you actually want to be a part of the solution and not just part of the complaint corner, then I encourage you, saying keep tuning in, work with us, perhaps consider, helping to donate money to us, help us build and grow. Um, Check out the website, ourunitedcore.com, ourunitedcore.com. Look at some of the things that we plan to do and we're trying to work on. Um, we also have core learning coming. There's a lot of great things in the works, but we got to start somewhere and we got to talk about it. So let's do that. That's what this is for, the 3 R's. So what does it mean to be radical? I think I said that word a minute ago. I think that as with most words, they can mean a lot of things. They can mean a lot of things that you want them to mean. So my interpretation of radical is really being having a commitment to change or taking action to cause change, right? To the fundamental nature of something. That to me is being radical. So it's saying that this thing isn't what I want it to be, and daring to say, maybe we can fix it, but if we can't fix it, we need to toss it and put something else there. That's radical to me, and that's the definition I work from. People can have other definitions. They can say that radical is, being an anarchist, or it could say being radical is being a progressive, or being radical is, there's so many different things. But there you go. So I won't be perfect for most. I won't be radical enough for some. I may be too radical for some others. I may be too liberal for a few people. I may be too conservative for a few people. Definitely, they might say that, nah, dude, what you are is you're progressive. Because if you look at many of my ideas and how I move, you would say it's progressive. But I don't I don't attach to that. You'll not find a video of me saying that I'm a progressive, because I got issues with how they move, right? So there's that, and yeah. So I'll just leave you here with a part of my personal philosophy, if you will, and hopefully, take it with a grain of salt. If it works for you, it works for you. If it doesn't, whatever. But this is what I encourage people to consider when they're considering what voices they listen to, what they allow in their emotional and mental space. Pardon me. So focus on the ideas that I share. Focus on the concepts that I touch on and my guests, right? Focus on our belief systems, not our beliefs. And this goes for anybody, like me, especially, because if I'm gonna say it, I'm talking about me, but also anybody that you interact with, what I'm saying? Your parents, your friends, a so-called leader, question and challenge everything except what you do believe in, what you do share, right? And reject what you don't. Nobody says that you have to. Well, there are people who will try to put you in the box. Just don't let them do it. You don't have to be like, well, I like Kwame Ture, so any and everything he says, that's me. No, that makes you blind. Don't ever do that. No, don't ever do that. Right? Take the principles, move with those, and then when they say things or they do things that you truly don't agree with, then don't attach yourself to that. Right? But protect those who are willing to step up for you. Let's offer people a little bit of grace, but don't attach to a personality. Attach to the ideology. That's my take. That's my little personal philosophy. I recommend it. But anyway, I have provided a selection of influencers as we talk through this. And like I said, there's aspects of each that I admire and seek to emulate, have incorporated into my way of doing and speaking and believing. And over time, you'll see and you'll hear some things that they've said come out my mouth because I agree with them. I believe in them. But it's the essence of their work. Like I said, it's their deep commitment to our community that drives me most. And that's what I hope to attach myself to. Perhaps you'll rock with me. I hope you do. Check me out. Check us out. Let's do it. But there's just some things to consider. Thanks for checking us out. This is the 3Rs first video. It'll be a lot better going forward because I have other people to talk to. I do much better talking to other people than I do with me just, doing this right here. So thank you so much. You guys have a good day.